All right, in this video, we're going to quickly talk about the transform data condition that's available in the CyberArk Identity Flows builder. Transform data does exactly what you would expect. It allows you to transform existing data within your flow. So from an overview point of view, there are several different types of transforms that you can do, right? So if I drag a new one in here and I look at all the various functions, you'll notice there are all different types of things: mathematical things, binary operations, string operations, path escapes, date conversions, etc. These are all available to you inside of the transform data condition. If you have confusion or you're interested in what the individual transform or function does, there is a helpful overlay that will pop out this little modal that will tell you exactly how to use this specific function and give you a great little example of where that might be applicable. In this flow, what I am doing is just basically polling an API that returns a body that contains a few different fields. And then I'm taking one of the fields and I'm performing a transform on it, just to kind of show you what a transform looks like inside of a flow. In this case, if you hover over the transform, you can see that we're adding 100 to the returned ID, which is part of the body. If I wanted to build this from scratch, basically I would pull the transform in, I would choose add. Right here for number, I would go in and hit the value selection, go to my previous API call, drop down the body, and then choose the ID. Secondly, I would come in and have the number 100 added. And if I want to give this a name so that it's easier to reference later, you can do that here, right? So now that I've added that in place, I can go ahead and collapse this, and I have this new transform that does basically the same as this one up here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it, but I just wanted to show you how you would add that in very quickly. Now, if I run this flow, basically what we expect is pull back a response, add 100 to the ID field of the body. And if I want to take a quick review, I can take a look here. I see that we polled and we did receive a response, and in the body there is this ID defined as 278, and this is an integer. Now I can also see that the transform data added 278 to 100, and we come back with a string, in this case, of 378. So just be careful when you're using this in the future. You may need to convert this back to an integer with another transform. Now, I can do transforms in series if I would like. I can also nest them. For this overview, I'll add another transform in series, but there will be a follow-on video that covers nesting them. Really, the decision is up to you on when you would nest or when you would put them in series. It's easier to troubleshoot if they're put in series. You can easily find out where something is breaking. It's a little bit cleaner to the eye if you nest them, which you're not having as many maybe subsequent transforms in your diagram. But let's say I want to make a string now with this transform value. I can easily do that by just searching for string here and going in, hitting string. In this section, I will just go ahead and say, this is the transformed value, colon, and then I'm going to choose that transform value. Now, this is just basically going to do a subsequent transform after this first addition. And if I take a look at what the formula is, you basically can see that it's string, and then we're performing a concat of the text that I typed in and the transform value from the previous portion. Now, I'll go ahead and save this and then run this flow. And what we would expect now is to see a final transform value that says this is the transform value, colon, and then some number. If we go ahead and take a look, we see the number is 402. We take a look at the transform data and we get that nice concise string that you can then use in subsequent calls. So again, if you want, you can nest these so where they show up as one block here in our flow. That again will have the benefit of cleaning up what the flow looks like visually. The downside will be it'll be a little bit harder to troubleshoot, and you may have to think about the logic on what operations are performed first when nesting these types of transforms. The follow-on video will cover basically the same exact flow, but just nesting them into a single call.